A little less than a year ago, James Gunn, the CEO of DC Studios, confirmed a new slate of movies and series for the new DC universe that would also include games and animations, including new projects that would reboot some of DC characters in cinema, especially Superman with Superman Legacy that will come out in 2025, and Batman the Brave and the Bold, a movie that would introduce a new Batman in cinema. And now the old DC universe, with all its ups and downs, it's dead and buried. We can leave all things behind and start to project for the future and start to talk about what this future for DC Universe characters will be, especially regarding the most anticipated one from the list, of course, Batman the Brave and the Bold. And since I don't have much in my life to do that is more important than think about Batman all day long, and we still have some years ahead until this project finally arrives, I can't help but to wonder what this movie is going to be. After all that we know is that it's going to introduce not only a new Batman, but a new Robin in the incarnation of Damian Wayne, the fourth Robin in the comics, and Bruce Wayne's son, which in itself is a bold decision because that's not most people's favorite Robin, including the one that is talking to you right now. But I don't necessarily hate him, and I do think he has a fascinating background with the whole League of Assassins origin. And I also think that bringing this Robin, it creates an interesting conflict, since he's the one that has these links with the past of Bruce Wayne. And even though I don't appreciate the character in the comics that much, I can see that it's interesting for the filmmakers and actually more easy to bring a character that is a little brat, like everybody knows, but can be adapted by having a specific arc of humanization. And how can Bruce Wayne, by being his father, can bring him out of the dark side and raise him as an actual hero that has the same kind of code of honor that he has. And that's why I decided to make this video. By the way, this is the first video of the channel. Look at that. I finally got the courage to make a Batman channel, because like I said, I cannot think about anything else in my life sometimes. And I think it's very appropriate to make this first introduction to my channel talking about the future of the character in movies. Because after all, I think Batman the Brave and the Bold has a lot of things for us to be excited about. So let's go. My name is Gus, but you can call me BATGUS. A guy who thinks too much about Batman, so why not just share these thoughts with the world? So let's go. At the time I'm making this video, there's no actual dates for the release of Batman the Brave and the Bold. Like I said, it's been 1 year that James Gunn announced its existence and left us wondering all this year of 2023, what the heck is this movie gonna be about? Actually, we all know that it's going to be based on the Grant Morrison run in the comics, so there's probably going to be some ideas taken from there, but we can also wonder what other things they're going to create for this movie. After all, it cannot be a carbon copy of the comic. They must have some inspirations, but also create a different story with its own elements. So this is going to be me basically saying what I would like to see in this new movie. Taking into consideration what James Gunn confirmed in that presentation, we know that this is not only going to be the introduction of this particular Robin, Damian Wayne, but also the introduction of the Bat family into the movies, which is a construction of a universe that I've always wanted to see on the big screen. Probably since, I don't know, Batman Begins? When the whole movie franchise was rebooted? Think about this, there hasn't been a Robin on movie form since the Batman and Robin from 1997, which is kind of sad. But we can talk about this representation of the character in videos for the future. It's enough to say that although I appreciate his introduction in Batman Forever, his portrayal of the character is very flawed, especially the age of that character. But anyway, what most excites me about The Brave and the Bold is that it's going to be a movie that, although is a Batman movie, it's going to be specifically driven to introduce this Robin and talk about their dynamic as characters. And it's going to be interesting because we've never seen Batman as a father in any movie. So although we have seen this relationship in comics and some animations, we've never seen it in movies, which begs the question, how does a loner like Batman will deal with the idea of having a son and having to raise a probable family. So I'm all aboard with this approach, and of course, I need to see the Bat family, which makes me wonder who are going to be the members of this Bat family in the story of this movie. Dick Grayson / Nightwing is probably a sure bet. I think that although he being a character that already exists in this universe without his origin at the circus and all that stuff being explained to us, I think it's very important that he is a part of this family because the rivalry between Dick Grayson and Damian Wayne is something that can be interesting developed. After all, it's a relation of real son with adopted son, and having inherited some of the code of honor of Batman, Dick Grayson can be a kind of a tutor figure for Damian, after having their conflicts, of course. Barbara Gordon, this / Batgirl, I'm not sure, even though I would love to see her already part of the family, but that is not a safe bet to do right now, especially because I don't understand the whole relation with the cancellation of the Batgirl movie that was supposed to be in the older DCU, and how that connects with this new story that they want to tell. What I mean by saying that is that, are they going to introduce a new Batgirl in this world? And that was one of the reasons they decided to cancel that movie. We all know that there was some issues with Warner Brothers, HBO Max, and the whole taxes thing. And I definitely don't agree with the cancellation of the movie because they give some excuse about being kind of bad, but I think this is a total disrespect with the creators, and being part of the audience that consumes this kind of content, I do believe every kind of art has to have its right to be seen and judged by the audience. Anyway, my whole point is, are they going to use the excuse of that movie's cancellation to introduce a new Batgirl into this new universe, or not? Or is she going to be part of the family already? I gotta say that I would like to see her origins being portrayed in some movie, or in this movie at least, and the whole relationship with Commissioner Gordon and how he relates to the whole Bat family thing. I mean, the whole secret of his daughter being this vigilante without him knowing is fascinating, and I would love to see that portrayed in movies. About the other Robins, I'm not sure. I don't think they're going to show up, to be honest. If they show up, maybe a mention, maybe just a cameo, I'm not sure. Maybe Jason Todd is a good bet because the whole relation of Red Hood and Batman is something that can be very interesting in a movie adaptation as well. But that leads me to the other question about this movie. Who is going to be the villain of it? We know that there is going to be at least one villain that is a safe bet to be there. That is Ra's al Ghul. Obviously because of his relation to the League of Assassins and for being Damian's grandfather. We also probably going to have Talia al Ghul. So to see these two characters back on screen, since we already have a version of them in the Nolan universe, is very exciting to me, especially if they go towards the whole magical and fantastic stuff with the Lazarus Pit. I mean, if you want to do a great version of this character, please go back to the episodes of Batman the Animated Series, The Demon's Quest Parts 1 and 2. That's the version that I want to see on screen of Ra's al Ghul and his daughter. But I'm not entirely certain that Ra's al Ghul will be the main villain. I do believe that there's going to be someone else there. Deathstroke is a good bet because he definitely has some connections with the League of Assassins. He was also part of the animation Batman, the Son of Batman, being the main villain there. Although there is this argument that Deathstroke is actually a villain of the Titans and not of Batman. But it is a character that the filmmakers definitely have some interest in, since even Ben Affleck wanted to do the solo Batman movie that was going to be played by him, with Deathstroke as the villain, portrayed by that actor called Joey Manganiello. I don't know how to say this name, I'm sorry, but anyway, the guy from Magic Mike, you know who it is. But I do think there is an interesting fact that in the script of Ben Affleck's Batman, the whole plot was about Deathstroke searching for revenge against Batman because he believed that Batman killed his son. And now in Batman the Brave and the Bold, Batman has a son, so using that character with the same kind of motivation, with this whole desire of revenge, and targeting Damian Wayne to kill him and make Batman feel his own pain, would be an interesting plot. Besides him, there is the possibility of Jason Todd himself being the villain, but I do believe that you can create some issues with that introduction because the movie would have to spend a lot of time explaining the whole story of Jason Todd, which is not a short one, and how he became Red Hood and became Batman's main villain in this story. And I think that would take a lot of screen time and development from the character Damian that needs to be the focus of this movie. And that goes to any other villain of the Batman Rogues Gallery. I know that Man-Bat is in the animation of the son of the Batman, so it could be used also in the movie. I do love this character, and it would be a dream of mine to see him on live action on the big screen. But in this movie, once again, he would be probably a side character. And there are a lot of other things that I would like to see in this movie, especially regarding the approach of design of this world, how the Batcave is going to be, how the Batmobile is going to be, how the suits, the colors of this world are going to be. I do think it's time for us to get far away from the dark and black tones that all the movies had so far. I love them, but I think it's time for us to go back for something a little more 90s with the Batman, especially in the comics that he had the blue and gray suit, and the colors of Robin were very bright and red and green. I think it's time to do that. And I do believe that the director of the movie that was already confirmed, Andy Muschietti, that directed The Flash recently, is a guy that can use this approach, especially because he also directed the It movies, which are dark movies, of course, because they are horror. But because of the nature of It the Killer, the whole circus and clown thing, he can mixture very well colors with darkness and make something very interesting visually. So I am betting that he will do a good job. And I will be honest, I loved The Flash, which is not a very appreciated opinion, but I don't see many flaws with that movie as much as people see. We can talk more about this in other videos ahead. Suffice to say that I am very excited about this movie. And the last great question is, who could be the actor to portray Batman now in this new version? And the answer for me is, I have no idea or suggestion. To be honest, by the time Robert Pattinson was casted as Batman in The Batman from Matt Reeves, I already was completely lost regarding what actor could play Batman at that time. And when Pattinson was cast, I had to force myself a little to see him as Bruce Wayne. Thankfully, it all worked, and I think he did a great job in that movie. But now is even worse. I have no idea what actor in Hollywood could portray this role. But maybe you could help me with some suggestion in the comment section. So please subscribe to this channel and leave a like in this video if you liked. My promise is to make as much as Batman content as I can, especially regarding the great things of this character that we all love. Before I go, please check my other channel here in YouTube, Trashing with Gus, where I talk about horror movies, trash movies, animes, animations, and a lot of stuff that we love, and I know that you do as well. So guys, I see you in the next video. Thank you so much, and bye-bye.